Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Recently, I had the opportunity to attend an intensive course entitled Advanced Translation of Islamic Texts, given by Dr. Walid Al-Amri. He's the Associate Professor of Translation Studies at Taiba University here in Medina, and he's one of the foremost theoreticians in the field of translating religious texts. So I really wanted to share a piece of the course with everyone so that we'd all have a better understanding about what a translation actually is, because as Muslims we rely so heavily on translations. So few of us understand Arabic at all, and practically none of us understand Arabic as well as Arabs did back when the Qur'an was revealed. So translations for so many of us are the means by which we experience our religion. We use translations to read the Qur'an. We use translations to read the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it wasn't until I attended this class that I truly got a glimpse at how important this subject really is, and also how neglected it is, unfortunately. So to give a brief idea about what translating entails, there was an exercise that Dr. Walid had us do. So he wrote a hadith on the board, and he had us translate the hadith in teams of about 5 people or so. And in this classroom there were native English speakers from the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, and there were also some native Arabic speakers from Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, etc. So we sat in our groups. We discussed the possible solutions in regards to translating this hadith, and instantly you start noticing how much the translator plays a role, how much the audience plays a role, how much knowledge of the different languages play a role. So just to give some examples, let's say that someone, they kind of just wanted to give a literal word-per-word translation from Arabic to English. They might say something like, "For Allah to guide through you one man is better for you than a red camel." Okay, so someone might suggest that as a translation, and another individual, he might reply, the wording, it sounds really weird, it should be reworded to sound better in English. So, they might suggest, "For Allah to guide one man through you is better for you than red camels." Okay, someone else might say, the audience, they really won't understand the value of a red camel. Okay, we should drive home the point by changing red camel to something that they'd better understand in today's terms. So that person, they might suggest, "For Allah to guide one man through you is better for you than a Ferrari." Someone might say, "No, are you crazy? You can't translate the Prophet ﷺ as saying a Ferrari." Okay, I get your point, but we can't do that. How about something like, "For Allah to guide one man through you is better for you than the most valuable possession." Okay, and so on and so forth. As you can see, there's an infinite amount of possibilities, and whoever's translating it is definitely playing a big role. Even if you Google this hadith, you'll see all kinds of different translations for it. The point of this video is just to give a glimpse at what translations really are, what translators really do when they're translating texts. Hopefully from now on, when you read a translation, you just understand that it is a translation, that human beings, they looked at the original text and then they had their own sort of method about translating it, and that it's not the original text. Sometimes we can just get caught up and we might just assume that this is done correctly. I mean, so many people, they'll quote English and they'll try to argue certain points about the Qur'an or hadith, and they'll act as if this is the original text and that they understand everything that the original Arabic statement entailed, when really we need to understand that this is a translation. It's limited. There's no such thing really as a perfect translation, and the more we sort of look into translations, the more we sort of understand the reality of that. So hopefully I'll be providing more material from Dr. Walid on the subject of translating religious texts. So jazakum Allahu khairan for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.